But moving on to topic number 2. All right, I want to welcome Philip Rivers to the high school coaching ranks. Philip Rivers, hey, if you need any tips from Coach Perry, give me a shout out, give me a follow, or give us a call. But yeah, Philip Rivers is now went from NFL player. That's where I should have went to, an NFL coach. NFL player to high school head football coach.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I mean, there's been some other NFL quarterbacks who have gone to the high school coaching ranks. Most famously, I think it's Trent Dilfer. He's got a great high school football program. I forget what state he's in. I want to say Tennessee, but I could be totally wrong. He's got an awesome high school football program where he's producing a lot of quarterbacks. He also runs a quarterbacks camp where he mentors high school quarterbacks who are possibly going to be some of the top quarterbacks coming out to be recruited into college, and then those guys often are the top quarterbacks in the draft. So it seems that former quarterbacks are the ones that want to get into coaching the most. And if you're a former NFL player, you just retired, you mentioned that does he want to get into NFL coaching? You've been in the NFL for so long. You've been on those plane rides. You've been at mini camp and OTAs and then training camp and then the season, and it's such a long, tough road for an NFL season. You can go to high school football and be a coach, and high school football coaching is not easy, but you think there's just a little bit less time coaching high school football than there is college and the pros. College, you got all the recruiting. In the pros, you have so many different times where you got to check into the facility, check into practice, and so forth, that I think these guys can still stay in the game, but they can and still be competitive, but they don't have that crazy schedule. Philip Rivers has 47 kids, or how many he has right now. So, it's probably tough to be anything else but a high school football coach, but I can totally picture him being an excellent high school football coach for 20 years.
You did bring that up, how many kids he has, and it could be that he's lining up to get all of them on the field, to be honest, because I believe he does have like 8 or 9.
I think it's
so it's one of those things where, he's just too off of having an 11-man football team. So it's possible that he was just looking forward to that, in the future. But it wouldn't shock me, honestly, if like a few of his sons ended up playing for him, because I think he could be a high school coach for so long. But it's one of those things where I think it's great for the school. Obviously, the school's getting a high caliber player, a high caliber coach, somebody that really knows the game, but they're also getting to spread their word, and spread the name of the school and put their school on the map by bringing in a former NFL player to be the head coach. So I think it's a great job by the school. And we also have seen it, like you said, Trent Dilfer, and also most recently, Jason Witten. Jason Witten is also a high school football coach now, and I believe in Texas. So it's one of those things where, like you said, it's an easy transition for them. And for Philip Rivers, I'm sure it was an easy choice, because obviously now, like you said, doesn't have to worry about all that travel, get to stay at home with that big family, be the father that he wants to be, but he also gets to stay in the game, be a head football coach. And he was saying all the right things in his interview I watched. He wants to be in it to develop young men and to have a great program. And, winning is just a bonus of that. And winning is just the outcome of doing those right things. And so it was great to hear him saying all that. So he's definitely in the high school game for the right reasons. And I think he's going to have a successful season. They just had a good spring game. And that's the picture that we're seeing over there is from their spring game. And he just said, we're just trying to get a couple of things ready for our fall season and get the boys excited. And I think that's exactly what it's going to be. And I know if I was one of those guys on those team, having a former NFL player come in to coach my team, I'd be ready to go driving through a wall for that guy to play 100%. So, hey, we've got to keep an eye on this, because they might end up in the state finals, honestly.
No question. If you're a quarterback, what other team would you want to play for than one that's led by a former, all-pro quarterback in the NFL who's probably a borderline Hall of Famer? That's another subject for another day. But, who wouldn't want to play for Phil Rivers in high school football? So that's a pretty cool story.